So, hi, good morning, hello to wherever you are, and welcome to BizTVonline. My name is Stuart Harris, I'm the host for today, and we have a very exciting event today, which has become an entrepreneur like Richard Branson, 3 mindset switches that will have your business life purring. And in line with that, we've got a very exciting guest who I'll introduce to you in a few minutes, but couple of questions I want to ask for you is firstly, BizTV. Why BizTV? Well, BizTV is a regular hangout series that is running each week, and we bring to you and showcase businesses or services that can add value, make a difference, and create some worthwhile momentum or changes to whatever it is you're doing, whether it be commercial or otherwise. So we have some excellent guests on BizTVonline, and it's well worth plugging in on a week-to-week basis. The second question that I'm going to answer for you here is why Hangouts? And that's a big question because Hangouts is well, it's not really a new technology, but it's becoming a mature technology that Google provides to us through their suite of products. And it sits quite nicely on top of the Google Plus social engine, or commercial engine as I like to call it, because it's not so much tailored to the little bits and pieces that people have in their personal lives, but more specific to what they're doing in their commercial lives. And the thing is that Hangouts is providing a service where we can do exactly what we're doing right now, is I'm talking to you live on pretty much my own personal TV show, and anyone can do this. So what is the reasoning for this? Let's talk about that very quickly. The first reasoning is marketing, and the reason why I raise marketing is a concept that affects us all. It's something we all have to do, whether we like it or not, and whether we know it or not. We could be searching for a new job, we could be seeking new partners, we could be trying to get finance for ourselves, you know, whatever it is, even joining a sports team or even mixing with a social network, we have to market ourselves. We have to have something that's of value that these people are going to see and say, yes, this is worthwhile for us to get involved with this person. And the currency, of course, of marketing is what's in it for me. And I know that's sort of a harsh, basic component, but when you boil it all down, what's in it for me is what drives all of us in terms of our decision making. Now, what's happening at the moment is a bit of a global socio-humanity trend, or humanic, or I don't know if I've got the right word there, socio-humanity event, which is described very aptly in the book called The Pendulum. And the pendulum talks about a cycle that we go through every 80 years and have been going through this for centuries. And we're right now, I'm not going to go into the nuts and bolts of the pendulum, but you can get that book. It's written by Roy Williams, I think it is, and Michael Drew. And I apologize to any of those authors if I've got your name wrong. But it talks about this cycle, and right now we're in the second quarter of the second cycle, which is what we call a we cycle. And we're in the civic event. Now, what does that mean? Without me explaining all of it, because it's quite complex, is that it's not just about what's in it for me, but it's also about looking for the things that are genuine. So we're saying what's in it for me, but where can I find genuine provisions in that process? And by virtue of that, we want to identify with people we can trust. And I know that many of us can operate online or in our business world, and we can use certain vehicles such as GoToWebinar. And GoToWebinar is a superb commercial vehicle for us to communicate, to get together and to collaborate, but you don't get to see people's faces. And trust is born a lot around getting to see people's faces and looking into their eyes, and by virtue of being able to do that, you're able to determine whether somebody is being authentic, is talking to you in a genuine way and providing information or services that you can trust. So hopefully I've been able to elaborate on that for you. I will talk a little bit more later in the session about why Google Hangouts. What I'd like to do now, because I'm very excited about this, is to introduce my guest. This gentleman is a self-made entrepreneur. He's a business coach and mentor. He's also a keynote speaker, and he's co-authored the book How to Achieve a Millionaire.
Actually provides a niche coaching service for a range of individuals and people who are looking for more success or perhaps improved performance within themselves as people or within their own business practice. So typically my clients would include startups, small business operators or business owners, but also the enterprising individuals, as well as the entrepreneurs that work within an organisation or within the workplace. And the word entrepreneurship actually is quite a foreign word in Australia, but more well known overseas. And I'm certainly an ambassador of the word entrepreneurship as much as entrepreneurship. I also like to work with budding entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs themselves, where sharing ideas and innovating and leading and bouncing new concepts around is also part of my recipe. Why have I established Creative Entrepreneur back in 2007? Well, if we go back to the beginning of my journey, which was when I was 22, nearly 20 years ago, I was not happy with my engineering practice. I was literally an employee working for a reputable organisation, but felt that there wasn't enough passion in the role that I was doing, and therefore I decided to quit that job straight away after a year of graduating, and walk into the unknown, literally the unknown. And for the first 6 months I was quite lost, only to then find an opportunity to establish business with my sister. And together we developed a very, very powerful designer stationery giftware wholesale retail business. And I dedicated myself 10 years to that business as managing director and part owner. And together we really created a very powerful organisation that not only generated millions of dollars of turnover per year, but we also defied the skeptics. We built a brand that was very powerful, not just within Australia, but also in certain parts of the world, and made lots of money from it, learnt a lot from it as well. In fact, I call those first 10 years my first 10 years of boot camp, where I was kicked and punched and taught how to survive as a budding entrepreneur. So now I can sort of tell those stories and share my words of wisdom to other people out there that want to ultimately achieve the same level of success that I achieved. So I'm very compelled to energize and inspire the people to pretty much do the same. And I have a motto of my own, and that is, if I did it, you can do it. And what it basically means is, well, if I could do it without any experience in business or training, which I didn't have at the beginning, and grow a business, then you can do it as well. So there is a methodology, or a number of methodologies, that I teach people on how to best tackle their business and literally grab the bull by the horns.
Sure, Federico, and look, there's nothing better than having people being able to walk the talk from a personal experience, it's great having the likes of yourself, and really works closely with the theme that I've introduced the session today. Now, I'm really intrigued by the topic entrepreneurship, and I must admit that this was a new topic for me. It may not be a new topic per se. Can you just elaborate a little bit on what that actually means?
Before I describe its meaning, I want to state a statistic which I've created myself. There's no proof of this, but I have a feeling that 99% of people know the word entrepreneurship. Okay, they've heard it before, they know generally what it means. But on the flip of the coin, only about 1% of people have heard of the word entrepreneurship, particularly in Australia. So that compels me to do something about it and actually become an ambassador of entrepreneurship, to educate the general public, but particularly the business owners, the leaders, the managers of larger organisations, about what is entrepreneurship. So if we turn to the dictionary, and I don't have that in front of me, but the dictionary would provide a very lame, ordinary description that it's a person working within an organisation and does a bit of innovation and leadership. but I wanted to take that word to another level, where it's more about driving business growth, and it's actually about the future of business. Essentially, an entrepreneur is an entrepreneurial employee, as simple as that. So an ordinary employee that works within an organization that has the entrepreneurial spirit, has the entrepreneurial mindset, and prefers to work within an organization but still innovate and create amazing things and push the boundaries and challenge the status quo within an organization, instead of them having their own business enterprise. So that's the difference. So the difference is very minute, but the awareness of both words is dramatically different.
Awesome, and appreciate that explanation. Now, we've got viewers watching in, and welcome along, viewers, because we appreciate you attending today. But we do have a Q&A box that's running at the moment, so anytime you hear something that you want to ask a question about, by all means, please feel free to either put it in the Q&A segment, or even on the comments page on the event site at Google+. So just moving on from there, Federico, why is it important for our listeners to hear what we're going to be talking about today?
I guess people need to understand what a coach can do, and particularly an entrepreneurial coach, which is what I am. Yes, you can tackle business on your own. You can attempt to learn things as you go, but I've learned from practice that the best way to grow a business is to resort to the people out there that have done it before and have perhaps the experience, the hands-on experience, the wisdom to share to you, to be able to drive you in the right direction, and to not only guide you but also to challenge you and to push you to that next level of performance, of success, and certainly push you outside of that comfort zone. And I know too well, because of what I do, that most people prefer to work in their comfort zone on a day-to-day, which limits opportunity. It doesn't give them a chance to really explore the boundaries outside of that particular zone, and I therefore have programs that push people to that next level so that they can actually explore what is possible out there. So it's about having trust with your coach, and having the willingness to do something different. One fact is, entrepreneurs are the first people that will proactively work outside their comfort zone, because they realize that's where their stamina, their focus, their concentration, and their ability to perform better is most manifested, compared to being complacent or perhaps working in your comfort zone.
Sure, and look, very early in my my business career, I got involved with somebody who I thought was a quality mentor, and the reasons why I thought that was because I didn't really have any terms of reference to go by. I was pretty much going by my own thought processes, and just observing what this person did, I felt he had the knowledge and the expertise to be able to guide me adequately. As it turned out, it didn't quite work out, and I ran into some financial difficulty, and this was one of my first experiences. In terms of people coming to talk to you and acquiring your services, what are the types of problems that they have, and what do they bring to you, and how do you guide them so that they have certainty about being able to get the right outcomes?
I think the most common problems that people come to me with are things like procrastination, where they have an idea, they keep talking about it, they keep sharing it with their family members or their spouse or their friends, but they never actually bring it to fruition, because there's the fear of the unknown, the risk of failure, and spending money or dedicating time to something and not getting anything out of it. So the fear of failure is probably the biggest restriction that people face, because failure for most people is a bad, dirty word. Yet I teach people that failure is actually a good word, because for every issue there's an opportunity. For every failure or bad experience, you always learn something from it. And Richard Branson, for example, is the first person to say to you that his failures, his stuff-ups, were the things that taught him the most about business, about personal limitations and what was possible, what was not possible. So those type of issues are most common. Also, is their idea feasible? So they might come to me with a particular idea or concept, and they ask for my genuine opinion about, can I make money out of this? And I will give them my honest opinion about it, and I will also be frank with them to say, well, yes, but you probably need to do more research, or have you got some venture capital to make it work out? Have you got patience? Are you willing to give it 5 years to make it work? And those type of reality checks is what I tend to present to people to begin with. Not that I intend to discourage people, but I tend to filter people out to make sure that they are 100% committed and are genuinely passionate. Those who are passionate are the ones that are likely to go to that next step, regardless of the fear or the uncertainty or the risk. Yes, we all feel those things, but the person who has the passion is the person that will take that next step.
Yeah, one of Richard Branson's books, he says, I think it's titled "Just Do It Anyway" or something similar to that. But I know, sorry.
Screw it, let's do it.
Screw it, let's do it. That's the one. Yeah, yeah. And he definitely qualifies. I mean, he talks about the mindset of having a go and you know, following your passion and just making the mistakes. But he also qualifies it by saying, you know, you do have to get some fundamentals in place, and you do have to be certain about some processes that are going to happen. And as you said, you have to be committed up here. You have to be able to hit the mistakes, hit the crashes, and overcome them and persevere through that so that you get to the result that you're looking for. If someone was to start utilizing your services today, what could their business or their results look like, say, in 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months' time?
I guess let's redefine that as short-term, mid-term, and long-term, which is kind of similar to what you've described. For me, short-term is, say, the first 3 to 6 months, and in that period, I would like to see a change of mindset in the person. Obviously, a positive mindset where their confidence is rebuilt, their passion is perhaps reignited, and having the ability to think big. So for people to stretch their imagination about the possibilities and to literally go out there with conviction and determination. So that's a definite outcome in the first 3 to 6 months, and sometimes that can be even achieved in the first month and sometimes in the first session. It really comes down to the candidate. So my methodology is quite repetitive, but nonetheless tailored for the individual. But it's up to the person to commit to that transformation and that homework, I guess. In the midterm, perhaps in the 6 month to 2 year period, I would probably like to see implementation of new ideas. So the opportunity that they presented, that they've actually done a significant amount of research, they've perhaps done a business plan or a strategy or an action plan to clearly outline how they will go about pursuing this goal, and obviously achieve some result, including sales, but certainly an increased momentum and productivity, and simply generating new potential leads. In the longer term, perhaps after 2 years, certainly there would have to be distinct sales results or outcomes, and I always like to push the boundaries and challenge people to think, why are you only thinking that this much business is possible? Perhaps think beyond that, and let's really go way above that level and see how far your idea can actually go. So don't think small, think big. It may also include new product developments and literally launching a product into the marketplace. Certainly building the brand and increasing its exposure and building its credibility and reputation. They are all very tangible things that are likely to occur in the first 2 years. I must stress, however, that coaching, mentoring, business consulting, and all of the above, the things that I do take time. And one of the common challenges I face with people to begin with is that they come with a lot of enthusiasm, they have a lot of passion, but they're often unwilling to work hard at something for a period of time, or they might try for 3 months and then they give up. And it's like the typical classic scenario of someone wanting to get fit. They go to the gym, and after 3 months they give up because they can't be bothered going on the treadmill again, or it's too hard. So I make people understand that through those type of analogies, and then it suddenly clicks.
Absolutely, and you know, persistence is the currency of anything. If you want to make it happen and get the right results and see it through, you have to maintain a persistence right throughout. Federico, we've got a question come through from Wendy Grenfell. Welcome, Wendy. Thanks for watching in today. The question here is, love your comment around fear being the biggest roadblock to procrastination. What strategies do you use with your clients to help them overcome their fears?
That's a good one, Wendy. Thanks for asking the question. I've grown to love fear, and it's a bit of a paradox to say that, but although we all react to fear in the same way, and often we tend to shrivel up and we become demotivated, or we become concerned or stressed, if you just give it a bit of time to air, to breathe, you'll actually discover that upon reflection, if you look back, you can actually see the positives from that experience where failure has occurred. So what I tend to do with myself when I experience failure or fear as a result, I tend to just leave it for a few days, or maybe even up to a week, or even up to 2 weeks, depending on the magnitude of the problem. If it's a trivial thing, I try to get over it after a day or two, but if it's more fundamental, I might just let it sit for a week. What I tend to then do is use that energy that's been created in me, and it's almost like having a bit of an ego to say, well, I'm not going to let myself fail again. I want to do something from this experience. I want to then put it into practice. For every issue, there's an opportunity. For every negative emotion, that can be transformed into a positive emotion, and there's a certain technique that I adopt, which I teach people, and in a nutshell, it's just give it a few days to breathe, and then reflect on the experience in hindsight, look at where things failed, and then put an action in place to move on from there and to improve the outcome and achieve success later on down the track. So it's a series of steps, but using that negativity as a leverage point to create positivity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, and also mindset plays a lot in terms of overcoming fears. And I've always maintained, and I coach this to my students, that if you're focused on your objectives and committed to those objectives, then you can overcome your fears. And I'm talking in basic steps here, because there's lots of intricacies around this, but keeping the focus on your direction, where you're heading for, and what you want to achieve can minimize the effect of any fears that are coming into play.
I like to perhaps make a comment about that and use an example that Arnold Schwarzenegger would always make, and I'm quite fond of Arnie, not for his muscles, but more for the fact that he achieved almost the impossible, and the skeptics always, challenged him to begin with. But if we look at his story, Arnie had a strong vision of being a champion bodybuilder to begin with, and he never questioned going to the gym and lifting extraordinary weights and experiencing a lot of pain and sweat and the skeptics saying, "Are you crazy?" He always imagined and envisaged holding the trophy at Mr. Olympia and feeling victorious and being the winner even years before it even took place. So that vision was what gave him a compelling purpose and reason to work so hard. And I teach people the importance of vision, and vision can be manifested through creative visualization or even imagination. And I say to people, if you can imagine it, then it's possible, and that's my philosophy. So no different to any other professional out there or any other master out there. And if we start talking about mastery, I can keep talking forever. But if we think about the violinist or the poet or the astronaut or the karate black belt champion, all these people certainly have a vision of being masters in their field, and they surely would imagine themselves being in a championship or performing in an orchestra or doing something quite extraordinary. and that gives them a direction and gives them a compelling reason why today they need to do a lot of hard work, they need to be disciplined, they need to stick with it. So the concept of mastery, which we easily understand with professions like, you know, the karate champion or the Olympic swimmer, I bring into business. And what's interesting to note is that when I ask people, what is your definition of business mastery, most people don't know how to answer that question. My simple response to that is entrepreneurship. So I say to people, for me, the formula is business mastery equals entrepreneurship. So, okay, what do you practice on a day-to-day? Just like, what does the violinist need to do day-to-day to become a true champion? Well, there are things like time management, creative visualization, pushing yourself outside the comfort zone, like making that cold call that you don't want to make, partnering up with certain people, networking, going out there and researching. So all those type of things, which I call working on the business, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard that expression before. It's about working on the business and constantly improving the way things are done within the business, and working on yourself to improve your mindset and your productivity on a day-to-day. So if you commit to those tasks on a day-to-day and you give it time, how much time? Well, unfortunately, it's at least 5 to 10 years before you can truly call yourself a business master. And I think it certainly takes even longer than that in some cases. So the core message here is that success does not come overnight, and it takes a lot of hard work, discipline, but most importantly, coming back to what you said, Stuart, it's about having a strong vision, which gives you a good reason why you've got to work hard now.
Yeah, absolutely, and I believe too, Federico, that Arnold Schwarzenegger had determined he would have $1 million worth of property by a certain age. I'm not sure whether it was 25 or and don't quote me on this, but I'd heard it recently, and he'd achieved that before he'd started making it big in the movie world.
Sorry.
Go on.
I'm not too sure about his real estate success, but with acting and even in politics and especially in bodybuilding, he always set himself these unrealistic goals, perhaps, or people would call them unrealistic, but he did achieve them within the time frame, or in his mind they were already accomplished years before it had already happened. So that is a very, very powerful mindset, and that comes through from Arnold Schwarzenegger, just like with a lot of other successful people and entrepreneurs like Richard Branson himself. You know, they have an aura about themselves. They have this energy that comes out, and hopefully that energy also lies in me when I deal with people. So it's that energy that energizes people, literally, and it's great to see that initial and instant transformation from someone who's dubious or skeptic about themselves, or they fear the unknown, to suddenly becoming super energetic and confident literally overnight.
True, and we're talking today about becoming an entrepreneur like Richard Branson, and we have as our key part of the header 3 mindset switches that will have your business life purring. I want to introduce the first of those, Federico, is setting up for regular entrepreneur coaching, and I believe you have an entrepreneurial success program. Do you want to talk through the key points about entrepreneurial success coaching that you provide, and what is the mindset switch that they have to engage for that?
Sure. I have a variety of programs that are short-term, perhaps just a one-off session where they can liaise with me for half an hour, or for an hour, or for 2 hours. So apart from the short-term sort of fix, I also have programs that last longer and essentially go deeper into the methodology of entrepreneurship. I have 2 primary programs that are tailored for 2 types of individuals. The first program is called Train Your Entrepreneurial Mindset, and it's tailored for the business owner, the enterprising individual, even the startup business, or the budding entrepreneur, the person who wants to make a significant transformation in the way they think, the way they perform, by understanding and adopting the philosophies and methodologies that entrepreneurs use on a day-to-day. So I've embraced various methodologies, including decisionship, which was taught by Krill Price, as well as my own methodologies and those of others. And together I've created a very powerful recipe that teaches people how to think entrepreneurially. In terms of the other program, it's develop your entrepreneurial skills. And we did speak before about entrepreneurship, and therefore it's appropriate for employees of organisations or executives or managers or leaders or people in a senior role who want to improve their performance, increase their mindset, or sharpen their mindset, should I say. And both programs are distinctly different depending on the people that we're dealing with. In terms of the commitment, it can either be a one-day intensive masterclass, or it can actually be delivered over a 4-week online program where it's basically drip-fed into the client's mindset, and that is an approach that some people prefer rather than the intensive one-day session.
And look, it all comes down to a decision and a mindset. And the decision is to commit to a process by which you're going to go to the next level and achieve the sorts of attributes that deliver the results that the types of Richard Branson and Arnold Schwarzenegger are delivering for themselves. It's I think there's a quote on your website, Federico. It says something to the effect that's think like an entrepreneur and you'll become like an entrepreneur.
Let me rephrase that.
Yep.
You are not born an entrepreneur, you become one if you think like one.
That's it. Yes. Yeah. And so look, that's very apt saying, because you do have to move into that consistency, move into that approach, so that you've left behind some of the thinking processes that you've had in your personal life to date, which may have been created in your childhood, or may have been created in early adulthood, or even through school, that are not consistent with being an entrepreneur. And you have to adopt those entrepreneurial habits, and that includes thinking processes that are going to deliver the results that entrepreneurs have. And I think the second mindset switch that we're going to talk about today is achieving business mastery. And when we achieve business mastery, there is a capacity to create exponential growth, exponential financial growth. Talk to us about that, if you will, Federico.
Sure. My definition of achieving business mastery is like the examples I gave before about being the violinist or being the concert pianist. It takes many years of practice. In fact, other successful people out there, like Malcolm Gladwell, talks about the 10,000 hour rule, and he says that for any true master, it takes at least 10,000 hours of practice to be able to master their profession. And I apply that rule within business, that to be truly successful on all fronts, you can't just simply learn the art of entrepreneurship overnight or through one course, but it really is an ongoing long-term commitment. And unfortunately, the reality is that it takes a number of years, at least 5 years, but I believe more 10 years, to be able to call yourself a true master, and to demonstrate through practice that you have been entrepreneurially committed to business. You've survived the test of time. You've gone through a lot of highs and lows. You've experienced failure. Equally, you've seen the reward, and you can be a true mentor to other people. So business mastery is something that I teach over the long term. So some of my other programs, like the business bootcamp program, runs into longer periods, and I have programs that go up to a year in duration, and they can be obviously renewed. And those programs, go deeper into the thinking process, but also into the operational side of the business, by looking at all facets of the business to make sure that each area is nurtured, each area is developed, and innovated, essentially.
Yeah, and we're coming to you currently on a Google Hangout. This is BizTVonline, and I'm talking to Federico Re. And look, one of the reasons why it's important to understand what Hangouts is all about is it can certainly add dimension to your business mastery process. Now, it's not a core function, but if you're thinking about it from a marketing perspective and making yourself known, then it's worthwhile having a look at the Google Plus and Hangouts platform. I'm just going to run through quickly a couple of bullet points, Federico, if I may.
Sure.
The reason why we're doing this today is we're in what I call the new Google. Now, Google's not new, but the platforms of Google Plus and Google Hangouts is definitely much more mature than it's ever been before, despite our little hiccup today. And this provides the opportunity for us to do what we're doing. We're talking right now live across the internet, across the globe, and essentially we're doing that to what is becoming a hungry audience. Now, this hasn't manifested entirely just yet, but late last year, Google Plus surpassed Twitter in terms of the number of followers. So, we're now talking on the #2 social engine in the world, and rapidly approaching Facebook in terms of its numbers. The third reason is this is zero cost. So whatever other platform you've been using to reach others in your business environment, and many use GoToWebinar, and there's nothing wrong with GoToWebinar, but there is a cost, and so in this environment there is zero cost, and what we're doing it entirely at no cost to us whatsoever. The fourth item is it's easy to do. You can go online, you can get set up, and just with a simple Google Plus account you can make this work for yourself, and you create your own TV show. And it doesn't need to be a TV show as in something entertaining, although entertainment will always add benefit to it, but it can be just something that provides information or a learning experience for whoever's watching. And finally, because you can see my face and my guest's face, who's Federico Re today, you get what's called genuine and authentic experience. So you are able to plug into a situation where you may well be in the same room. It might feel that way to you, just looking at my face right now. So there is the key points about why Hangouts should be something that you think about in terms of your business mastery package. Just like to talk further about how we have the third mind switch of the day, which is igniting a passion. And Federico, I know you have a passion for many things, and it comes through everything that you're doing. Can you talk to us about that and what strategies you would apply in that process?
Sure. Look, perhaps I come across as passionate, but so are many other people. It's just a matter of understanding what ticks them and what lies beneath the surface. I'm passionate about many things, but obviously about entrepreneurship, and I've nurtured that interest for many years by literally being in business and just experiencing the reality of running my own enterprise or enterprises. The word passion is a word that actually means a lot to me, because it's like the fuel to your car, and if you have the right fuel, then you're likely to go places. And I do say to people that success is 99% mindset and 1% product or service. And that, yes, it's a stretch of the truth, but the reality is that your mindset determines your direction and your success, and your mindset is enhanced with passion. And passion is like a drug that gives you a good feeling. It's the adrenaline, and it's important to understand how to increase your passion. And I see passion like a fuel tank, and it goes up and it goes down, and it's important to find effective ways of increasing the passion level on a day-to-day. And an example is creative visualization. When I visualize the future, or if I imagine the possibilities, I do get an instant rush of adrenaline, and that gives me a good feeling. And most importantly, I then try to take note of those ideas that I have, put them down on paper, and then do my best to implement them in reality. So passion is a very positive thing, but equally passion can dissipate with the click of a finger, and it can go up and it can go down literally per minute or per day or per whatever time frame. So my goal, my responsibility when dealing with a client is to ensure that their passion level is as stable as possible and building as a result. Because if we can keep it stable, then it keeps the focus, it keeps the momentum going, and it enables them to achieve goals at each step of the way or at each milestone.
Thanks, Federico. Now we had a little bit of drop off in viewers, but we still have some here. So folks, if you're keen to ask some questions, this is a pretty good time to do so. You can pop it into the Q&A segment or in the comments area of the event page. Federico, in terms of a way that viewers or any interested parties could get access to what you're providing, do you have a course or a program that they can plug into immediately to get something happening?
Absolutely. Like I said to you before, I have two primary programs: the Train Your Entrepreneurial Mindset program. Its price is $12.95. It's actually it's priced very competitively. And for viewers today, for the next month, I'm offering it to them at a 10% discount, just to give them that extra incentive to say, I want to change, I want to become successful, and I want to establish this exciting relationship with Federico, who's done it before. So that particular program is the one that I most recommend. Perhaps if you're working within an organisation and you prefer to look at it more as from a different set of eyes, the Train Your Entrepreneurial Skills is the other program. It's structured exactly in the same way. It's a one-day masterclass or a 4-week program, and it can also be offered in-house within the organisation per se, instead of just for the individual. And again, that's priced at $12.95. So they are the two core masterclasses that I'm offering, and I'm offering that 10% discount on both of those programs for the next month to all viewers.
Yeah, great. That's awesome, Federico. And look, I've got a link here, which is stuartharris.net/intro. That will take you there. We were going to put up Federico's link to Creative Entrepreneur, but this will take you there. There's no hidden costs in there whatsoever. So stuartharris.net/intra will get you to that course, and I highly recommend that you take up that offer, because Federico has a high commitment to that event, and by offering a discount, he's actually deviating from his norm. He's just kindly offered up this discount for me, and I didn't have to do too much arm twisting, but I really appreciate that he's done that for our viewers today. I've got another question pop up, not a question, but just wanted to say, great interview, guys, really interesting. That's really nice, handy comment. Thank you for that. And any other questions? I just checked the event page. Federico, did you want to add anything at this present moment about anything we've talked about today or your courses?
I think it's just worth giving it a go. The alternative to liaising with me would be perhaps through a one-off session of 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and I also offer those alternatives if you want to just get a taste of dealing with me, or perhaps if you simply want to give me a call and have a brief chat, I'll be more than happy to take your call. And my number is, for Australian viewers, it's 0408 510 378, or for overseas viewers, it's +61 and then 408 510 378. So I welcome your call, or perhaps your inquiry via email on info@creativeentrepreneur.com.au. So I'd be happy to answer any of your questions, even offline.
And look, if you go to the website creativeentrepreneur.com.au, you'll find numerous testimonies as to Federico's capabilities. He has worked with many organisations and individuals and created much success. So if you need any verification of his capabilities in this regard, you will find it at his website. And of course, through the process he's just described, you're able to contact him directly on his phone and have a discussion with him and just find out for yourself. We've had a very exciting event today, BizTVonline, where we've talked about how to become an entrepreneur like Richard Branson. There are many takeaways in this hangout, and I'm sure that if you're watching the replay, you'll enjoy it as well. I'm going to sign out today right now, and I really thank Federico Re for joining me from Creative Entrepreneur. Really nice to have you along, Federico, and thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, Stuart, and thanks for the opportunity, and to the viewers who were willing to listen to me for the past hour. Thank you.
Awesome. Closing out now.